These are the flowchart symbols. This is the start and end symbol that you have to use in all of the flowchart, which is the oval shape. And then this is the input and output, which is the parallelogram. Output as in like when you're trying to print something out from Python, you're trying to get the input of what the user inputted into your program. This is the process symbol, which is the rectangular when you are initializing a variable, or if you are doing subtraction, multiplication, you can use this, or even for a for loop you can also use this. This is a decision symbol. It's usually for if statement, while loop. As long as there is a true or false scenario, you may use this. This is a function symbol. It's a rectangle with two lines. You can easily recognize this, and is to be able to differentiate between a process and the function. On the right side, you can see I have prepared five scenarios of how will I be able to draw all this flowchart. So this is scenario 1. So for scenario 1, first we have to do is to create a start or end, and then since we initialize num equals to 13, we will use the square, rectangle, and then num equals to 13, right? And then since we are printing num, we will use the parallelogram to display. Lastly, we just have to end the flowchart. This is scenario 1. Okay. What about scenario 2? Which symbol do we have to use in order to create the flowchart for scenario 2? We have to use the start, and then we have to initialize num equals to 13. Then since it's an if statement, we will have to use the decision symbol, which is the diamond. If num is greater than or equal to 13, if it's greater than or equal to 13, I will print out num, which is, when you're printing out num, is its output, so it will be a parallelogram. And you have to include here true. What if num is not greater than or equal to 13, then we'll print less than 13, which is also an output, therefore it's a parallelogram. I have to include here false. Lastly, we have to end the flowchart. Don't forget to include all the arrows as well, so you have to know, so people will know like the flowchart is going which directions. This is scenario 2. What about scenario 3? Scenario 3, we have a for loop in scenario 3, right? So same, initialize num, next, using a for loop. A for loop is a process, so it is a rectangle. When you're actually in a for loop, there's actually a decision symbol in it, because when you are in the for loop, when you are looping through every of the element, we have to know if it reaches the last element, therefore we can get out of the for loop. So we will need a decision symbol which display if last element is which. So if last element is not reached, we will still be in the for loop. So I'll put here false. If last element is not reached, we will print out I, right? So print out I is the output. So after that, when you print out I, there's nothing more, right? But we are still in the for loop. So what we will need to do is to arrow it back into here. So you will still be in the for loop. So if last element reach, then we will end the for loop, and then you end the whole flowchart here. This is for scenario 3. Okay, what if we have scenario 4? Scenario 4 is a function. This is a function, and then we are calling out a function here, right? So for a function, there will be two separate flowchart that you have to do. So one will be the main flowchart, which I'll write here. This is the main. Then this will be the function. You have to write the name of the function. So for our main function, right, we basically only have one of this, which is calling num function, right? So what we have to do is to just draw the function symbol, which is the rectangular with two lines. And then that's for the main flowchart. Well, as for the function flowchart, what we have to do here is the logic in the function, which is here, right? Initialize num equals to 13. Okay, and then display and then end. This is for scenario 4. What about scenario 5? How can we draw the flowchart for scenario 5? First, have to draw the start, right? So same for the main program, it will just be two rectangular, but there are gonna be a slight difference, which is what I'm gonna show you. So the slight difference will be this. There's gonna be a letter in the parameters if you are gonna include an argument inside of the functions. As for the function flowchart, gonna initialize num, and then I'm gonna display num multiply by value. Then gonna end. That's for scenario 5.